Welcome back to the Angel Scrolls. We have some exciting news that just came in, which we believe shows the synchronicity that you will find with many of the presentations we are doing here at the Angel Scrolls. On December 21, 2018, we posted the original version of Victor's Sentinels of the Future, Part 2. Recently, Ryan has began updating these original presentations, for a couple of reasons. One being, some of the transcriptions need minor corrections, and secondly, Ryan feels that he can make the presentations more professional. Since he does them himself, he has learned a lot since he started, and believes there is room for improvement. Additionally, he is using a new program, which improves the narration aspect of them as well. On April 2nd, he posted the revised version of Sentinels of the Future Part 1, and he has been working on Part 2, on and off, since then. On April 9th, at 10:45 a.m., he posted the new version of Part 2. In both the new and old version, he had some questions about some of the things humanity needs to know the truth about. One of the questions was whether or not giants existed on Earth in the past. Even though this discovery may have been known for a while, it was only on April 9th, right around the same time he posted to this very important question. Some of you may think this is just coincidence, or Ryan somehow knew this video was going to be posted. However, we believe there will be more things like this happening soon, which will negate that assumption. There was another question also posed in that same video which asked if elongated skulls were real or not. If you look at the video of the giant skeletons, we see what looks like an elongated skull as well. So, as we are updating this video, we'll provide further evidence that may answer more of those questions. From here on in these updates, Ryan would like to cut down using his name so much in these presentations. So we will start using either he, we or even I, instead, for he is the one who writes these presentations, and I am really only a digitized program that he uses to speak for him sometimes. There is another question that was asked in that presentation about whether or not some of ancient megalithic structures were alien related or not, and if alien life exists on other planets in the universe. Since then, he has been very interested in finding out the truth about that and spending a lot of time reviewing some of the 2021 images that have been coming from the rovers on Mars. This is not confirmed yet by any reputable news resources, but we believe we have some very interesting images that may provide evidence that, yes, there are ancient ruins on Mars from past civilizations and possibly even present life on Mars. Here is an example of just one of several short videos he has done so far. Ryan decided to do another review of the Perseverance rover's images sent down from Mars at the Jezero crater. In the video you are about to see, Ryan recorded where he zoomed in on images, and then did a snapshot. Whether you will be able to see some of the same things that we see in these images will depend on a number of things. Which are, the resolution of your monitor, the size at which you are watching the video, and the quality of your graphics card. You may hear Ryan refer to some of these images as living creatures or beings, however, none of this has been verified yet. All we can do is show you the images that Ryan has collected from Mars, and what they could be. You will have to make your own determination. We think it obvious that some of these images require further investigation by many, to determine what the truth really is. This next image might be out of sequence, but it is a magnified view of a cliff that shows some interesting and possible unnatural rock formations. Up at the top of the cliff, you can see a cubical structure which looks like it has a roof and a door. Up in the right-hand corner, is what looks like part of a circular disc-shaped object, partially sticking out from the rocks with remarkable patterns on it. In this next image, let's go from top to bottom. Right off the bat we have this structure which is similar to a triangle, with a 45-degree and a 90-degree projection coming off of it. Below it is a perfect triangular cave entrance. Over to the left a little and down you can see a larger rectangular cave entrance, which has a wall structure at the side. There is also another square cave opening beside it. And then there is another random-shaped cave entrance with something that resembles the face of a monument of some kind which is similar to the face on Mars, except from a side view. Below that, you have a wall with a perfect inside 90-degree angle, and within the wall you have construction materials that are different from other parts nearby, with two holes in the material like you would see in a cement block, and this part which is broken off due to a cataclysm and could be part of that same wall structure. Beside that, there is another odd-shaped formation that could be a pipe or intelligently designed object which sits on some kind of platform or terrace. I find it interesting that the overall structure looks like it is made of shale or different layers of rock, but when you look inside the large cave, it is smooth, and you do not see the layers anymore. Also, if you look at that large part of the wall that is broken off, it is much thicker than any parts of those layers, so the layering must be a result of weather or water erosion. If not, that part of the wall would have to have been transported from a different location. There are also a number of flat and rectangular platforms through the entire structure. Yes, we have heard a lot about how some of the strange formations were made by lava tubes and so forth, but how do you explain so many square or rectangular openings and platforms, for example, like this one? That is square, and then right at the entrance there seems to be a large platform in front of it. As far as we know, lava does not flow out making square holes like this. Finally, in this image, there seems to be a series of steps throughout the entire structure. Perhaps they are due to water erosion, but many of them seem to be in the exact place they are needed. Here is another cave with an interesting anomaly. Apparently, there is not supposed to be any real signs of plant life on Mars. Ryan originally thought that this image was a weird-looking snake or animal which was possibly still living, however, we are not so sure right now. They will probably explain this off as some kind of lava excretion, yet, we believe it could be a Martian tree or vine of some kind. If it were lava, and due to the amount of time it would have been there, and the atmosphere on Mars, it should not be standing erect as it seems to be now. In addition, the small lower part of the body that supports the upper portion does not seem to adhere to the laws of physics, for it is so small compared to what it supports, unless it was intelligently made from a material humans are not aware of. Then there is this slightly to the left that looks like a sculpture of an alien being, or animal with a head, ears, and 3 arms remaining, that are mounted on a small platform. Keep in mind that the heads of the two anomalies are very similar. Ryan had another look at this image as well and made a few more observations. It very much looks like a head of an ape or possibly a lion. It has large eyes and its mouth is wide open, you can even see the eyes are a different color than the rest of it. It has a snout with nostrils, as well as lips and chin. In another image you will be able to see an enhanced and lightened image which shows teeth inside the mouth. Here's that enhanced image. Now let's zoom down to this image right here. It looks like a building of some kind. It has a roof and cylindrical type chimney structure. Once it is enhanced and brightened up a bit you can even see it has some very odd shaped structures around it, like this horseshoe shaped wall, and what could possibly be an outline of a spacecraft covered in dirt. There are at least 2 very interesting things in this image. Near the top of the cliff it looks like a submarine figure was carved in the rock, you can definitely see something there, and a little below that, there is another one of those creatures that seem to be popping up in several other images. And what's that? Could it be the head of one of those snake creatures, with the tail that winds down below? And are these rocks that just look like snake heads with lava tubes always around them? Could this be something popping its head out of the ground because it seems to have a neck and glowing eyes? Ryan calls this the Alien Junkyard because there seems to be too many unexplainable things there. In this next image that is from what Ryan calls the Alien Junkyard, there is another very interesting image which he called the Robomartian. Here you can see its head, which is detached but still close to the body. Then its body which has some unique markings on it. And then the legs, which bend, and lastly, the arms. At the shoulder you can see how it is a mechanical type aperture. It's laying on a structure that does not seem natural and resembles wooden pallets with boards and right angles. Possibly made of stone or even metal that's in decay. There is also an interesting white image, that looks like it might be some kind of weapon below it a bit. Over to the left there is a right-angled piece of material that resembles angle iron, and above the robot there is another cave entrance with a platform in front of it. Finally there is this image here which looks like the match for that right-angled piece of possible iron. And on top of that there is a circular object which looks like it has 2 more snake-like things hanging around it. In this cave you can see what looks like a large reptile head that may be carved into the wall, and below that cave is another rectangular cave opening, with a supporting structure on top. The walls inside the cave look like they are intelligently designed as well. Dropping down on that cave face we see something very interesting and which I believe is intelligently made. It looks similar to something you would see at a Mayan temple, used as a waterfall, or it could even be another terrace because it has an entrance inside it as well. Here we have what seems to be remnants of an ancient wall with beveled edges on it. And look, two more rockfish-like images that have eyes, snout and a slit for a mouth. And off in the distance it looks like what might be 4 pyramid-type structures. All of which are similar to ones we have on Earth in different parts of the world. Let's take a closer look. It is unfortunate when you zoom in that far the quality of the image drops considerably. However, there does seem to be a resemblance of the step pyramids in Egypt and Mexico. Especially this one here. This next image is a little confusing. At first glance it looks like some kind of statue, like a Buddha, sitting with its arms crossed, with something on its head. Yet if you look a little closer, it seems like there are 2 creatures, one behind the other, with its arms around the one sitting in front of it. Then next to them, there is a cave, and another figure's head and neck is popping out of the opening looking at the other 2 creatures. This image kind of looks like a creature with a whole bunch of legs, however, it just may be a reflection of the top on it. It is still quite interesting though, and it is near the mouth of a cave again. We saved perhaps the best example of evidence of ancient life on Mars for last. This image is extraordinary in many ways. It shows the clear outline of a ship. You can see how it starts with the bow. Instead of a spaceship, it looks more like a ship that was made for water. On the front we can see the clear remnants of the bow, and the ship's sides are visible here. Then at the rear of the ship there seems to be evidence of the stern as well. Returning to the bow, we have one of the best images of those creatures that have appeared in other images on Mars. This one looks like it is a monument that was made as part of the ship. And then, we can see a second story cabin, with some intelligently designed structures on it. As we move back towards the stern, in the center of the ship you can see where it snapped in half due to an earthquake or something. Look at how the ship separated. Normal rock doesn't do that. And lo and behold, we see another clear image of a snake-like creature, with a head and a flat body, that looks like it was designed as steps on the ship. Very strange, but it is hard not to see that it is intelligently designed. Or maybe I'm wrong, and it is an actual living being. Here's another image of that where you can clearly see it has its mouth open. You know, what we can't figure out is why this new evidence is not going viral all over the internet. If you look at the Perseverance YouTube channel, there are several hundred people watching it live. Do they not see that there is definitely something amazing happening on Mars right now? Or are we the only ones that see it? Well, if we are, then I guess it is like the recordings that Ryan has been working on for the last 20 years and it's all an illusion. Personally, we know it isn't, but only you can make that decision. There is still much more evidence that we have got from images of Mars, so you may want to look at those videos. Plus, I am going to do a conclusion for Victor's series of Sentinels of the Future, which will talk about what happened to Mars, and what currently could be taking place there. We should have that for you in the next few days. Right now I want to end this video with Victor talking about aliens and some other interesting points. Before we do, we would like to say that Ryan has decided to leave out some of the hardest parts that he translated of Victor's speech, for there are some areas that you would not be able to understand no matter how hard you try. He realizes now that some of these parts, he may only be able to hear. And leaving them in, may put doubt in the minds of those that have not been following this from the very beginning. Here is that recording of Victor. Part 17. Victor says, I think he can't disappoint God. Life can open up to the precious things. I just know it, and you know he's seeking prophecy in the events that are shown during the transition. Yes, these events are plentiful to check out with lots of Ryan's lessons. Part 18. During the future he's going to lecture. The curious who thought this does not seem possible won't have reason to investigate it before the election year.
So now you can hear part 17 and 18.
That last part had prophecy in it as well. He talks about the lessons that I made, that did not happen until after his death, and then he mentions the election year, which I believe is the 2020 election of President Biden. Part 19. It is hard to tell some, Trump will be guilty, when questioned better for his part. It is their duty to expose him. God loves a miracle, and knows who will elect to help him. Even Linda wrestled with some things there. In part 20, Ryan and Victor speak. Make the most of it, people. Okay. Because some will be back spiritually, to grow your vegetables. We called Ryan to deliver you an offering of carrots. He'll have a mission. The angels will be absolutely right in bringing religion here. Ryan finishes with, oh yeah yo.
Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, Victor who's talking to the people. Oh yeah, yo.
As you can see, Victor predicted the election of Trump over 20 years ago. He also spoke of him on other occasions. Victor and my two other budgies have made many prophecies that have already come to fruition. In this one alone, Victor also talked about me bringing a new religion, which again was not even a thought at the time of his death. He also talked about how my wife, Linda, which I did not meet until almost 10 years after his death, had trouble in the beginning accepting that Trump was telling so many lies. I know there are a lot of people out there that still believe in Trump, and I hope you are open to finding out the truth. The angels knew what happened with him, could have changed the world for the worse, if the tables were turned, and Trump was re-elected. In part 21 Victor says, don't count on the 2% who will be complaining and won't become conceited and play with the tone. While we wait for the mission, Ryan will begin retrieving lessons and plant them. Part 22. With things he could learn from the Ark. Our paradox will keep him in sync to our song. God's truth is definitely our song. Hear it now while you look at this. Part 23 and 24 are quite amazing. In part 23, in the forward mode he says, you will hear our victories. Then the microwave dings and he says, we all feed from God. Some of the people and their budgies don't eat enough. I know he, God, wants you to know, the song that feeds life, is hearing his words now. Part 24. The soul surely returns. So, those who believe it pray and hope there is food for later. The love in your soul shall help you look for support against ruining your world.
So now you can listen to that part.
In part 25 he says, If we're stupid and leave it to many who can't protect our future, we'll experience bad afterbirth, and return at some point to intake the air of their errors. You're hearing the earth. And Ryan says, it's crying out, we know in heaven. You're the first humans to learn this way. We will develop a plan for you humans with truth. Part 26. We're Sentinels of the Future. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If you're to wish, you'll achieve all I now do offer, for all who know about these plans here in reverse, really result from a religion of God. Then Ryan says, is there philosophy in your religion? Then Anthony says, it is sure here with him, meaning God.
Now you can listen to that part.
Why are you bad? You're not bad. Yeah. You're bad, we are.
Victor, it hurts.
My derriere hurts, it sounds like he says.
In part 26, Victor says, let's go on a tour when the aliens will meet us, and give some help. They're pleased that, or what, we're hearing during this whole event, and come as friends. Simon will be waiting. You won't lose him. Part 27. That will be new in your future. Then Ryan and Anthony speak in reverse. The Earth isn't really, Anthony says, alone. In all this reverse, Ryan says, your kids will hear it. Then Anthony says, it started magically, then Victor says, and Ryan released passion.
Now you can hear that part.
Picture's done, Victor. See?
Very good, Victor.
My picture's done. I like it.
You like this picture?
Really? I'll just give it.
If they'll hear it.
Please, sure, give it, I'll just give it.
That last part had some prophecy in it as well. Some that has already came to fruition, and some that hasn't. In it, Victor talks about our newest budgie Simon, who for the past couple of years has been experiencing health problems. We have had him to the vets a couple of times, and he has been on antibiotics 3 times. We thought we were going to lose him at least twice. Lately, however, we have noticed an improvement, and he hasn't been experiencing the breathing problems so much, as he did in the past. In part 28, Victor says, are you going to catch this kiss from Victor? The future counts on history and catches everything. This emotion you have, challenges you, that Ryan is a real prophet who exists in a long line you will see. This prophecy, and Ryan says, exists in his efforts. Part 29. Guess what? Ryan just caught history here, by adopting the code that some think is a bunch of nuts. Before people abuse him, don't worry if this does confuse you. Until we see some attention soon here. The abuse is from evil, to slow this event. He has wisely spent every year to evolve in the process.
Now you can listen to that next part.
What's that say, Victor? Yes, that's it.
In the last two parts 30 and 31, Victor says, if something needs attention, it's the future. While we start to see what's up there and possible. Then Betty says, you will hear heaven. We'll show them, the thoughts that we provide them are truly what's in the quality of life. Part 31. That's when your morality is important. When it's immoral, more people like to keep this unknown, causing evil in our world. Those people, who have morality, your good deeds are picked up.
Now you can hear the final part of this video. Okay, that's good, Victor. Did a lot of these.
Before closing, I would like to mention that I am going to do a final video which will more or less be a summary of why this video is so important and its relevance to what is happening right now on Mars. Hopefully, the synchronicity demonstrated will be of interest to some listening.
That completes this presentation. To hear more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or visit our website at TheAngelScrolls.com.